What is up, my friends? Today, very excited to present to you 27 baseball games that have spanned from the 1980s all the way to the present. This video has taken me a couple of weeks to finally finish, so I'm glad it's finally done, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's play! Alright, it all started for me with this game right here for the NES, 1985 Black Box Baseball. This was the first baseball game that I ever played, and it was pretty basic for its time. However, I mean, we didn't have much to choose from back then, and the previous systems had, for Atari, the 2600 and the Intellivision, those baseball games were pathetic compared to this one. But this game didn't have its faults. Like you can see here, you can easily kind of cheat your way to steal a base, kind of fool the computer. So the game was broken in that sense, but still a good introduction. And here we have Bases Loaded. 1988, I got this game, and it was a substantial upgrade over Black Box Baseball, to say the least. And there were other rivals this year. You had MLB Baseball for the NES and also RBI Baseball, but this was the game that I chose back then. When you're a kid, you can only usually get one, and then you become a fan of that, of that series. So yeah, Bases Loaded for NES, good game. And then we moved on in 1989. Tommy Let's Go to Baseball. I got my Genesis. This was the first baseball game that I had, and it was a huge upgrade going from 8-bit baseball to 16-bit baseball. The visuals, the sound effects, the gameplay, it all blew me away at the time. So this was my first introduction to 16-bit baseball. It was pretty good, solid game. It just didn't have, a player's license or MLB licenses, but hey, this was still a solid game to play. Back-to-back home runs! Moving on to Super Bases Loaded 1991. Now, I picked this game up later on in like a bargain bin for a few bucks, and in my opinion, that's all it was really worth. If I would have paid full price for this game back then, I would have been really upset, because it doesn't have any of the game modes that are standard for this era, the 16-bit era. And the Super Nintendo, as a console back then, it was lacking in sports games, so the Sega Genesis really dominated that area. But this was a decent game. It's just that it was a steep learning curve in defensive controls and the timing to hit one of these baseballs. As you can see, it's really difficult to hit a ball here. What are you gonna do? And then I also have 1991 Baseball Simulator 1000. Solid game for the Super Nintendo. Like I said, you don't have many options to choose from back then. But the gameplay was solid. Sound effects average. But it was a good, solid baseball game. You can customize teams. It's artificial teams and players, but it was good customization. I liked it. But I didn't have this game back then when I was a kid. I picked it up, cheap. And then also for 1991 for the Genesis, I have this futuristic baseball game. It's supposed to take place in the future, in 2020. Enhanced players and robotic characters. It's a fun arcade-style baseball game. It's a lot of fun. Solid title. I enjoyed it. This was also a later pickup for me. It feels really good when you crack a baseball in this game. And this is one of my guilty pleasures here. 1991 as well. Hardball by Atari, the Atari franchise, and I have this on the Sega Genesis. And it's an artificial game, meaning it doesn't have player MLB licenses or player licenses, but it doesn't matter. It's just a solid baseball title. Everything about it, it's just everything that this game presents to you. It's done solid, really good. And the price is a little above average for picking up a retro 16-bit game, about $10. And this is another solid baseball game. This is for the Super Nintendo, and this is one of my favorite Super Nintendo baseball games back then. Excellent game. you can pretty much customize your entire league, teams, players, stats, and just manipulate your own world. You know, I really enjoy this game. This game has a lot of gameplay hours on my end, especially back in the day when in my youth when I played this a lot. Here's another late pickup from the Sega Genesis, Cal Ripkin Jr. Baseball, or 1992. I don't know. I'm glad I only paid a few bucks for it because I don't know. It's a decent title in my opinion, but you know, no licensing. That's probably why it didn't do well back then when it came out. But I mean, the graphics are good, solid sound effects, and the animations are one thing I like about this. And another one, 1992 for the Sega Genesis, Roger Clemens Baseball. Another non-MLB licensed game, but it's still a solid game. And one of the things I liked about this game was the fielding. This introduced, the player walk-up screen and the fielding in the third person, which I thought was pretty cool. Solid game. No bad things to say about it. Late pickup for me. A few bucks, you could probably pick this up. Here's RBI Baseball. I have the 93 version, and I also have the 94 version, and I also have RBI Baseball for the NES, but I didn't showcase a video for that one. I mean, you can't go wrong with the RBI Baseball franchise. You get player licensing, which was pretty cool back then. I just never really got into the RBI Baseball games. I was always playing other brands. And then here's RBI 94, another solid title. It's got the player licensing. But I don't know, I just never really got into this franchise. These are later pickups for me. But it's cool, because you can play using your childhood idols. This is another solid baseball game by Sony, and it had the baseball license. ESPN Baseball Tonight. Really good vocals, excellent for the 16-bit Genesis. The animations were decent, and this game kind of presented itself the way you would watch a game on TV. Really cool.
Ball one.
But the only thing I really didn't like is that it's like kind of quiet, like a library. When you're not hitting the ball, there's really no crowd interactions. See, it's just really quiet. It kind of annoyed me when I played this game. But good sound, good vocals. I like it. A few bucks, pick it up if you know. And most people know Tecmo for making Tecmo Super Bowl, but this was a solid baseball game. Tecmo Baseball, 1994 for the Super Nintendo, and it was slim pickings for the Super Nintendo, and this is a solid title back then. Excellent. Crisp gameplay, solid graphics, player licensing, good stuff. And then you got Sega Sports logo. It was a new thing in 1994, World Series Baseball, where you had the player license and the team's licensing. And this was, pretty good series back in the later years of the Sega Genesis. It had a lot of different options, including the Home Run Derby. But there wasn't much difference from the original World Series Baseball to the sequels that went on from like 93 to 98. And the vocals are kind of sound a little robotic. They enhanced a little bit of the visuals and some of the animations when they continued on, with 94, 95, all the way to 98. And of course they upgraded your rosters year to year. In the later years of the Sega Genesis, I had moved on to the Nintendo 64. Next gen baseball for me was Ken Griffey Jr. It's a solid baseball game, 1998. I had my Nintendo 64. This was my first introduction to next generation baseball, and it was pretty decent.
Good afternoon and welcome to...
You have your rendered 3D stadiums and players. So this was a huge leap forward from 16-bit baseball gaming. brought a lot of new concepts, like the batting target cursor, improved, sound effects, gameplay, the play-by-play announcing, everything was done on a next generation level. Good stuff. And then in 2001, I got this game, All-Star Baseball 2001. This was really a good one. I played this one for years before I bought my next baseball title. And in my opinion, I thought this was a better baseball game than any of the PlayStation versions, the PlayStation 1 versions. I thought the graphics were superior on the Nintendo 64. Just my opinion anyway. I didn't dive into PlayStation until I got the PS2. But yeah, I played this one for a lot of years. It held me over until 2006. And on the PS2 I got MLB Baseball The Show. And this was just totally next level. This is humongously amazing game. I played this one for a while, and you had, as you can see here, the motion capture of real athletes, and they really started to show your players looking like the animated players looking like their real life counterparts. And you have crisp, clean play-by-play, excellent modes, career modes, exhibition modes. You have like the Road to the Show mode, home run derbies, online play. This is really jumping into modern baseball gaming, and I love to play in this view. You had, you could change your camera angles. This is one of my favorite views from the 80s when I used to play bases loaded. So I was really happy to pitch in this view, and even I did some batting in that view too, because I was just used to it from playing bases loaded so many years ago. And here's the wonderful home run derby, where it's a great party game. Love it. And then in 2007, the second year I bought back-to-back Road to the Show games that, in 06 and 07. Immediately I bought 2007 was because it had David Wright on the cover, one of my favorite Mets. So I bought it, just for him, just because he was on the cover. And then I also picked up in 2008, I picked up MLB 2K8, mainly because Jose Reyes was on the cover, and he was another favorite Met of mine. This is a really cool game. I wanted to play another version. I was so used to playing the Sony product, Road to the Show, or MLB The Show, but I wanted to try the 2K version. And this is another. You can't go wrong. It's a matter of preference. Playing either one of these games, they're both really good. And then in 2008, I picked up Mario Super Sluggers on my beloved Nintendo Wii. I love this game, especially if you're a baseball fan and you're a Mario fan. This is a must-have. It's a little pricey because, it's Nintendo and it's a Mario product. But I love this game. The only thing I don't like about it is just the lack of modes. Like you can't play a season, I wanted more characters, I wanted more teams, and I wanted to play a season, with stats, maybe even create your own player, but maybe I was asking for too much back then. So this game didn't hold me for too long, although it's so much fun to play. Don't get me wrong, I love this game, so much fun. You can throw like this power pitch where it's really difficult to hit, and you build up these power pitches, and you just want to save them for the right moment, to try and get almost a guaranteed strike. And you can do the same on offense. You can save up these power pitches. Boom! Here we go. Smack. It's on fire. You can't hit it. Guaranteed hit for the clutch. It's a lot of fun. And you can, you swing in your remote and connect with the ball. See ya! Then in 2010, I picked up another MLB The Show game. I'm a big fan of the series. And this is the PlayStation 3 version. It just, fine-tuned the PS2 predecessors. And Joe Mauer was on the cover of this game. And the next season he was jinxed. And he had an abysmal season. But yeah, solid video game. You know, the graphics, the lighting, sound effects, it's really fine-tuned here. Can't go wrong. And you could pick up the PlayStation 2 generation, the PlayStation 3 versions of the show games for dollars. They're actually cheaper than the retro 16-bit games, without a doubt. So if you're looking to pick up some of these old school, you know, PS2, PS3 games, they're really cheap. A little bean bowl there. And I also picked up 2K11 on the PS3. Another solid game. Can't go wrong. I bought this game a few months ago for like $5. Solid game. And I believe the 2K games are also on the Xbox. I hate to leave the Xbox fans out, but the 2K versions are available on Xbox 360, I'm pretty sure. The Home Run Derby, a lot of fun. And my last game on the PS4 is MLB The Show 2016. This is my latest baseball game. And I bought it when it first came out, and I haven't been playing it recent years. I love this game. Excellent. How can you go wrong? It's beautiful. All around, everything about the game is beautiful. But it just takes up a lot of hard drive space these days. You're buying all these games, and especially sports titles, they take up a lot of hard drive space. And I only own maybe 3 or 4 dozen PS4 titles, and I'm already like maxed out on hard drive space, and I have a 500 gig hard drive. So it becomes really frustrating, trying to hold some of these games to keep them, I hate having to delete some of my progress. And that's the case with this game. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for sticking with me this long. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. And let me know what games you like out of these lists, what games you have. And if you have any questions about any of the games that you saw, leave me a question, leave me a comment down below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And I really appreciate it, all the support in the recent months, and I want to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to have some more videos coming out soon. It's been a tough stretch for me. It's hard to find, mixing family life and my new hobby, that is YouTube. So I hope to see you guys soon. I got some new videos coming out. Hopefully I can try and keep 1 or 2 videos a week. But until then, see you guys later. Peace!